Take a look at tech news. Let's start off with Intel Arc. Looks like they're going to actually release the A580, which I thought was abandoned at this point. Apparently they're still going to do it, and they're going to aim it towards the RX 6600, which is previous generation, and the 3050 again, which is a previous generation GPU. So that's a little unusual. I don't know why they're bothering at this point, unless their newer Battle Mage or whatever it's called is not going to come out for a long time, which is certainly possible. Here's a little spec sheet. Thanks to videocards.com for assembling this. They might bump up the power rating apparently by a little bit to make it more relevant to these two GPUs. At this point, in my opinion, I feel like it's kind of pointless to release this thing. I feel like they should just make the A750 cheaper if they can, but whatever, who knows? It's a thing. I hope that Intel survives because more GPU options are always good. GlobalFoundries applies for CHIPS money in the United States to expand their fabs. This is good as well. If you don't know GlobalFoundries, they were AMD at one point, but let's see how many years it's been. 14 years ago, they broke off from AMD, turned into their own business. It was pretty much a necessity because doing this type of stuff is very expensive. They're still struggling to get those smaller process nodes compared to, say, TSMC or Samsung. It looks like their most advanced right now is 12 nanometer, which is where Intel is actually, but they're probably even behind Intel. Yeah, it's expensive, difficult, I'm sure, but it is nice to have other options. And of course, you don't need the most advanced process node to make chips. So there's various types in cars and whatever. You don't necessarily need 5 nanometer or whatever they are at this point with TSMC, but apparently they're trying to get some money to improve the situation. They applied for financial support. I mean, it's fine. Hopefully they can use the money properly if they do get it successfully. And having more production capacity in the United States itself is always good for us as in people in the United States. Nice little tidbit of information here. September 21st, 2023, Department of Defense awarded GlobalFoundries a 10-year contract to supply securely manufactured semiconductors for aerospace and defense. They probably will get funding, obviously, if the Department of Defense is bankrolling them. Nvidia collaborates with Denny's to have a dinner where he apparently went and delivered food to people of this event. So that was different. I guess his first job was at a Denny's. That's cool. Nice to see that Nvidia is doing something. If you're interested in the backstory of him and his Denny's experiences, might as well check it out. Hopefully they work on more gaming GPUs, but this seems to be their current focus. Intel is moving towards their Intel 4 technology with a fab in Ireland. So that's kind of cool. These pictures are awesome looking. Kind of a little bit of the technology involved. They have these tracks for little things that they move around. And yeah, it's super cool. Some of their suited up photo ops, very clean looking, obviously. But hopefully they get this done and offer this in desktop CPUs. Apparently their next CPU isn't going to be for desktop. It's just going to be for mobile and thin devices or like computers in screens and things like that, which is a little disappointing, but maybe they don't have the capacity with these new processes to make it happen on desktop. So we probably won't see more advanced manufacturing from Intel until 2024, mid or late, I would assume. But at the very least, they're making progress. Intel has been on quote unquote 12 nanometer for a really long time. So it's nice to see that they're finally breaking out of that. Here's an interesting one related to emails. Sending over 5,000 messages a day, Google will be mandating the unsubscribe button in the email. And I think that's a great step because email spam is super obnoxious and it's hard to deal with. If you have an old email address, you're probably getting a lot of junk mail. Obviously, you don't have to look at it, but sometimes it's good to check and make sure that a relevant message didn't go into there based on filters and stuff. But at the very least, it's nice that they're doing something about this. I make a lot of YouTube videos, especially about photography, and a ton of companies over the years have sent me random messages with a lot of Gmail addresses, a lot of disposable addresses trying to get me to take product and make videos on it. And obviously they're very suspect, but it's obnoxious to get a bunch of Gmail messages about junk that I don't want to review or whatever. So hopefully this will help the situation a little bit. We'll see. Another interesting one about AI, of course, all these big companies related to AI are trying to get a step above all the other ones, the hot, cool new thing, AI and GPT technology and stuff like that. I actually haven't used ChatGPT for quite a few weeks at least. They're really pushing for it. So apparently they're trying to get more access to training data. I think there's a huge situation with stolen training data, images, text, anything that's out there. These companies are taking, but hopefully they're trying to get legitimate legal training data sets. But this article apparently is related to that. So if you want to check it out, check it out. I'll put a link in the description. Meta, aka Facebook, wants to charge $14 a month for ad-free Instagram or Facebook. I don't understand the appeal here. Who would use Instagram to this level that they would want to pay for it? Maybe if you have a business that's super successful on Instagram, it would make sense. But for everyone else, why? Another thing with Meta Facebook, they released these interesting glasses in collaboration with Ray-Ban that apparently do a lot of cool things. I haven't looked at them in detail, obviously with privacy concerns and things like that. They do have cameras on them. This is not really anything new, but they look pretty close to actual glasses. I'm into streaming, obviously. I'm into IRL streaming potentially. I've messed around with it. I bought a second phone just to experiment with it. Something like this would be nice for that situation, but I kind of doubt it's up to the task at this point, but it's at least getting there. It's moving toward that direction. In public situations, IRL streaming is a thing. People do it. They have full backpacks, but having glasses and maybe just a smartphone connected to it would be really nice just from a practicality standpoint. Obviously, people will be concerned about, oh, someone's filming me. Ooh. But a lot of the time it's just not in that context. A streamer doesn't necessarily care about... I saw a funny little quote about a streamer was talking related to IRL stuff. It said the NPCs around. So all the people around when you're doing IRL streaming, they aren't the focus unless you've got some creep that's doing some weird type of stream. But in general, a lot of the time you're focused on yourself and focused on the stream and the content, and it doesn't have anything to do with the people around, is the point I'm trying to say here. So I don't see personally any issue with having discrete ways of doing a stream, for example. But obviously there are some concerns about cameras everywhere. Let's take a look at, see what they look like. $300. I think they look nice. They basically look like glasses. I don't know technologically how good they are. I'll have to look into more detail. Obviously, if you want to check them out, do that. But at the very least, they look like basic sunglasses, which is nice. It looks like they have two cameras on the front. Apparently, they have some type of LED to indicate filming. See myself trying to do IRL streaming with a pair of glasses in the future. Looks pretty cool, in my opinion. Instead of having an extra camera on you, put some glasses on. I like glasses. I like the look of glasses, so I've never seriously considered having my eyes fixed because I don't really mind having glasses and I have a big nose, so that's one aspect. Obviously, cleaning glasses is kind of a hassle. Anyways, if you're curious about this stuff, check it out. Quick look at tech news and interesting stories related to that. Scott of Tech, I suppose. See ya. I had to think about my channel name. I have so many.